perfect way. You no longer exist, you're no longer.
Welcome to AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me as always, I have my tag team partner, the Glamours and Delisha. What's going on, Delisha?
Hello, as usual, another Monday recap on the horizon. And sadly, I am starting to crash from my espresso from earlier, but I'm hopefully going to still keep that energy up because I was buzzing earlier for real, for real.
I don't think you had like 4, right? I don't think I've ever had even one, maybe 1 or 2. But 4, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was a mistake. I acted on the wrong thing. Or
Uh,
maybe they can book me. I don't know.
but yeah, we're coming to the end of the year, the last pay-per-view of the calendar year, not of our season, but kind of the WWE season, because right now they're doing like the end of the year awards and stuff like that, but we do it like in a WrestleMania kind of season. That's how we stage ours, but it's the last pay-per-view of the calendar year for us. And it was TLC that we're talking about. Usually they've been switching it between like TLC and Hell in the Cell once in a while. Armageddon also. I think Armageddon was like the most fit because it's like the end of the year. I think Armageddon came about around like 1999 when like they thought Y2K would like end the world. So Armageddon was a
It
cool.
would have been fitting for this year.
Yeah, that's true. Armageddon, I think, would have been a good name. I think they should. I think they should have kept Armageddon for as they named for the final pay per view of the year. But yeah, what'd you think of the card and all that before we get into at the end of when we talk about our overall grades and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we were texting last night as we normally do, and shockingly, too, I guess maybe the both of us, this pay-per-view wasn't super great for me. I don't know if it may have been a flow thing. Like, I really couldn't put my finger on it of why I wasn't enjoying it the way some of the other people were. And the thing is, I didn't find all the matches, like, terrible, so I don't know what was wrong, but it didn't, with the exception of a few, it didn't really grab me as some other pay-per-views from this year have.
For me, it's like the opposite. Like I went and looking at the card, I wasn't really thrilled about it, except for the 3 matches I picked because they're pretty much superstars I enjoy watching. 2 of which are in the same match together, being Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles, and then another one actually ended up joining that match too, so that made it even better for me. But yeah, like I wasn't really thrilled about the card, other than like when we discussed the picks for which match we're doing. But I obviously like the Fiend and Randy Orton too, so that was cool. And Sasha Banks I enjoy, but the rest of the card I wasn't really too happy with. I wasn't like but it really surprised me because I thought like every match they really put their like bodies on the line. Like I don't think I've even in the first match alone I don't think I've ever seen a referee ask a competitor are they okay that many times in a match, because AJ took a lot of crazy bumps and the referee went over to him several times. So. That was kind of new for me to see, and I feel like all of them like tried to they just saw the match prior to it, and they're like, okay, we gotta try to top that, we gotta try to top that, and that's what I felt like the whole night. They kept trying to top each other, going into the rest of the night, and I thought it was well done in my opinion. But I guess we'll discuss that as we break down the matches. Starting with the first one, the pre-show match, which was an 8-man tag team featuring Chad Gable, Otis, Daniel Bryan, Big E against Sami Zayn, King Corbin, Shinsuke, and Cesaro.
Yeah, so I didn't get to watch all of the pre-show. I usually just have it on in the background, usually when I'm like making dinner. So I didn't really see how this came about, or it might not have even have had a reason why. It just could be because these people were all involved in some sort of storyline with each other at some point during the last couple of weeks. So that might just been why they threw them all together, even though each of them on their own with their respective views would have been fine for an actual match. But I digress. But we did have it all. Oh, sorry. to where out of the gate, Zayn was like, "I want none of this," and was hiding out on the floor, so to speak, or outside of the ring to avoid being tagged in. Mainly because if you're watching SmackDown, so he doesn't have to face Big E. But we did get it was a lot of Daniel Bryan action going on in this particular match, and even I guess until around the end when I believe Otis was in the ring and it was a recall from a tag match, not this past Friday, I think it might have been last Friday, to where Gable asked for the tag and then he got a rolled up pin and lost. But this time he actually made it and was able to do his patented, I believe, German suplex. And then Sammy wanted to get into the ring because he felt like the right picking for a pin. Didn't happen. Gable was able to make the tag to Big E, gave Sammy the big ending, and the match was over. So it was just a quick match to get all people who are involved in these various storylines onto the card, so to speak, to get a match in. But overall, it was fine.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been better if it was maybe just Big E versus Sammy, but I think that's what they're trying to build up to.
Yeah.
I always like seeing some Cesaro. I was like Sheamus and Cesaro putting Cesaro in there, but it wasn't really that much highlighting, and I didn't really notice the match because I was kind of distracted anyway. But I did see the ending with the Big E, whatever it's called, and getting the win on Sami Zayn. So I wasn't really too thrilled about the match. I never really been thrilled about Daniel Bryan. I kind of really like Big E, Sammy, Shinsuke, and Cesaro. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about the match. I know we were just going back, talking really, not really talking about it because we were into it. But the next match featured your WWE champion Drew McIntyre defending against AJ Styles with what's his name, Almost in his corner, and it was a TLC match where the title was suspended above the ring. And, Styles started out really strong by going for the leg. I think he went for Drew's left leg, or his knee more specifically. Started with a drop kick and worked on it a lot. Pretty much took control of the early part of the match until Drew was able to power out and once again use his Future Shock DDT to regain momentum. Then he took control for a little while, but then Styles was able to come back working on the knee again. And he kind of did these awesome chair assisted calf crushers. I thought those were really, really cool. They looked really nice. Like when I see people doing their finishers like submissions, it doesn't look like it hurt, but that chair assisted and the tables and the ladder assisted calf crushers really look like they hurt. So that was kind of cool to see. Finally, Drew was able to gain the upper hand as Styles was climbing up. He kind of threw him and launched him out of the ring onto a table. And that was a crazy bump that he took there, that AJ Styles took, which gave Drew time to work up the ladder on his injured knee. As he was doing that, Miz and Morrison run out. Miz cashes in, power bombs Drew through another table that's inside the ring, and has a clear path to the championship, or so we thought. And as he gets to the top, Almost comes to the ring, grabs him, picks him up, throws him over the top, outside onto a table, thus pretty much eliminating the Miz for now. And then Morrison hits him with a chair, which is really cool because the chair broke apart on Almost's back, showed him that he didn't even get phased by it. Almost chases Morrison out. Why would he chase him? I don't know. You kind of should still be there for AJ, in my opinion, but I guess for the results, that's why that happened. In my opinion, I didn't mind who won. As soon as three of my guys are in the ring, I'm like, hey, I can't lose in this match because I like all of them. Doesn't matter who wins. But for the sake of AJ Styles, I'm like, why would Almost leave? Because he's there to help AJ, But as we know how the outcome happens, it makes sense in that why he left. So once again, they all start fighting. They all get back up and start fighting for it. I think AJ and Drew are up at the top. Miz gets another ladder, climbs up alongside them, starts punching all of them, and then I think he gets headbutted off, and then Styles leaps up and does the off the rope onto the ladder, starts fighting Drew. And then I forgot how Drew gets knocked off, and then Miz takes his place up top of the ladder. Then Drew knocks them both off and climbs the ladder. He knocks them off the ladder. AJ falls to the outside, again taking a crazy bump. I think his face is bleeding at one point as well. Miz lands inside the ring, comes back towards Drew only to get Claymored, which gives Drew time to climb up the ladder and retain his WWE Championship. And I thought it was a great match. It was very hard-hitting, very great bumps that like we always say, AJ Styles makes everyone look great in the ring. And I think he did that. Drew was no slouch as well. He really showcased himself. Miz came in as a comic relief. I hate that he gave up his Money in the Bank. Kind of sucks. There's no Money in the Bank in play anymore, right? Because Asuka never really had to play it since she ended up winning. And now we lost Miz's chance. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. And my only gripe was that Almost left. He should have helped AJ win. But hey, Drew won, which I don't mind. Like I said, if anyone won, I wouldn't have cared. What about you, Delisha?
Yeah, I think it was pretty solid working from all three men, but like as you have alluded before, that's not surprising with who we had in the ring. And I do like that they still kept like the spirit of these guys, like characters in the match, where we have AJ still being able to pull off amazing moves whether it be off the top rope, off the ladder, on the mat itself, and then also keeping Drew strong, and then also keeping Miz as the like entertaining like chicken shit heel. And I mean, yeah, it is sad that he's lost the Money in the Bank contract, although he did win it off Otis, so I guess it's like karma somewhat, even though he did like win it, but with the help of Tucker, but still so we get to say bye-bye to that little storyline. And I don't know, it didn't seem like they really had a big plan with it to begin with anyway. I mean, because were they really going to let Miz cash in on McIntyre or AJ if AJ had won somewhere between now and WrestleMania and next Money in the Bank? So I really didn't see them doing that for the sake of storyline. But sometimes you never know. But it was really an entertaining match to start us off for the TLC match. I did think it was funny that the namesake of the just be two of them, but the namesake of the pay-per-view kicked it up. I don't know. But like I said, we did have two of them, but none of them closed out the show.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. You didn't know.
I did enjoy it. The next match was for the SmackDown Women's Championship, featuring the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks against Carmela. And it started out with I saw the package leading up to this, where I guess Mela has been attacking Sasha throughout the weeks, and she has a sommelier, which is like a wine connoisseur, who like gives her champagne all the time, coming to her aid as well. The match started out with Sasha taking out her frustrations on Carmela by beating basically the crap out of her for a good few minutes, and then Carmela's finally able to get upper hand in the match, hitting a bunch of super kicks, and also with the help of her sommelier. So Mela had control for a little bit. She didn't really do much though. Like she hit like a bunch of super kicks, which are kind of, she doesn't do well. She had to go over a bunch of Bronco Busters, a bunch of pins. She really didn't do many moves if you think about it throughout the match. It wasn't a lot of moves. It's a bunch of super kicks, reversals, Bronco Busters, and tilt-a-whirls. So that's all she did throughout the entire match, as well as the Frankensteiner that she got reversed later on in the match. The one coolest part was when Sasha threw Carmela off the ring and the sommelier caught Carmela, then threw her onto like basically Sasha, which caused a tilt-a-whirl, which is really cool. We mentioned finally Sasha was able to get back in control, did her homage to Eddie Guerrero by doing the Three Amigos as well as the Frog Splash. Carmela kicks out, hits that tilt-a-whirl that I was talking about, and another face buster. She went for a Bronco Buster, missed that. Hit another few super kicks, missed, and then didn't get the pin. Then they went to the top, and Carmela went for a Frankensteiner, but Sasha rolled through, got a 2 count. They kept switching pinfalls, and kept reversing each other's pinfalls until Carmela got the Code of Silence locked in, and then a double chicken wing, but then Sasha was able to wiggle out of it, and then Carmela. Then I think Sasha went for Meteora, but then turned it into a bank statement. Carmela sommelier pulled Carmela out of the bank statement, and then got Meteora himself. And then, right when that happened, you thought maybe Carmela would win because she had two big super kicks, which still don't look good yet. After I thought with her time off, she'd probably get better with the super kicks. No, they still don't look good yet. But she had two big super kicks, and Sasha kicked out and turned into another bank statement right in the middle in the middle of the ring, and Carmela tapped out. And that was the match. So your thoughts on that, Delisha?
Yeah, I have conflicting thoughts, which will probably be my theme throughout the rest of the show. Because it's weird because this might have been one of her like best work matches in terms of the storyline buildup and just trying to be that really good heel instead of being like the annoying heel. She was kind of more of the more of an intense heel personality to her character than a heel that we've seen her be before. So I did appreciate that. Sasha was Sasha. I don't expect really bad matches from her. I feel like she's not able to do that. But also on the other end, like you said, with Carmela doing like a very limited moveset, it didn't really feel like much of like a solid wrestling match. And it's probably not what we expect from Carmela, but she is capable of doing that. So that's why I was like feeling kind of conflicted with this match. I didn't really at either point of the match think Carmela was ever going to win. So I was already expecting Sasha to retain. This is basically a get revenge on Carmela match for Sasha.
Yeah, like I said, it was fun to watch. I think that of the matches, this is one of the worst matches of the night. But they still put on only because I think they didn't really showcase Carmela. All these weeks of building her up, they really didn't showcase her. Sasha looked good. She did a lot of crazy good moves. The Carmela Sommelier exchange was pretty good with the tilt-a-whirl and all that kind of stuff. That was cool to watch. But other than that, it wasn't really good. It was just a bunch of super kicks and, like I said, reversals and face busters and bronco busters and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't that cool. But I really wish they kind of showcased her like they've been showcasing the ladies the last few weeks, last few pay-per-views, especially the Survivor Series and stuff. But yeah, it wasn't so. And people like Zelina Vega who are gone now could have been here and probably put up a better match, in my opinion, I think, because of her in-ring work and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's at the fault of Carmela because we both know what she can be capable of if given the opportunity. I think it just may have been the way that they have the match planned out. But like I said, it really played out like a let Sasha get her revenge on Carmela, and we may revisit this down the line at some point. But I think, much like all of us, I think WWE is just in a rush to get past 2020 and into 2021.
Yeah. So
that's what this match is. Let's get this over with. We'll deal with it next year.
Our next match was they kind of got over pretty quickly. Welcome Skye and welcome Entertained. I saw you earlier too. Welcome guys. Was for the Raw Tag Team Championship featuring the New Day, represented by. Do I even have to say represented anymore? Because I guess Big E's still in it, but he's not on the same brand, right? So Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston against the Hurt Business, represented by Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Hey, welcome Bubba.
Hey Bubba. Hey Skye. Entertained. I saw you in the chat too. Yeah, I think with Big E, he's just mainly the person saying the entrance to the music now, because they even said when before the match when Xavier was trying to do the because part, he was like, I can't do it as great as Big E.
I mean, he was there. They could have said it.
Yeah, right. So they're still acknowledging trying to still make him because of their close knit friendship,
right? But
still letting him be his own on SmackDown. But this match, kind of from the jump, Hurt Business wanting to try to, like you said, make this match as quick as possible. We start off with Kofi and Cedric in the ring, and Cedric started off with a super kick to try to get a quick 2 count to win the titles. Didn't happen. Kofi was also after that able to get over to Xavier, who did a leg drop off the top to get the near fall, and then after that it was kind of a lot of New Day harping on Cedric until he was able to reach the tag of Shelton Benjamin, and then you would see Cedric spend a lot of time outside of the ring while Shelton was doing a lot of the in-ring work with probably one of the like non, I guess, weapons highlights of the pay-per-view, which is Kofi going for, I don't know if he still calls it the boom drop or not, but going for that, and then Shelton, being the amazing athlete that he is, jumping up and catching him on his shoulder, much to the chagrin of the New Day. And
Bless you.
and then after that, we did see Cedric get back up into the ring, and then we was continue to see some quick tags in and out, including Shelton getting, I believe it was, oh, actually, that was before the boom drop where Kofi was on his shoulders, and Cedric was going for, I guess, maybe a crossbody possibly, but missed it. And then we also get Kofi trying to go for the Trouble in Paradise, but again, Alexander is dodging it and giving him a jumping knee, and then a brain buster, going for the pin, but Woods was able to get that off before the 3 count was made. And then we get another tag out with Shelton. I believe it was Kofi in the ring, and Shelton was really about to put him out. I don't remember Shelton's finished move, but I believe that's what he was going for. But as we saw on Raw last week, Cedric would tag himself in and to get the lumbar check, and he would actually get the 1, 2, 3 pin, as I think you prophesized that he was going to do earlier in the day during the kickoff show. But we have new Raw Tag Team Champions, and I'm not really that mad at it. It was time. New Day was hitting that point where, because we're at that lull where we don't have great tag team matches going on right now, so they were kind of feeling a little stale because they don't have any competition to help like rise them to the top as well. But so getting some fresh faces on the tag team sounds really good. And now all the members of the Hurt Business, but not counting MVP because he's their like manager, hold gold.
Yeah, so for arguably the 4 best athletes in WWE, one of the 4 of the best athletes in the WWE, this match wasn't really showcasing any of them. There weren't any great spectacular moments besides like the one move you're talking about where Kofi went for the boom drop and stuff like that. And then when Shelton ran up the ropes and did the German suplex or belly suplex off of it, I really didn't know something crazy good. Maybe they're going to set up for a bigger match. If like this was a ladder match or a TLC match, like a la the Hardys and Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, like that type of match back in the day, like that would have been cool for this kind of match, especially with the caliber of athletes we had. But I think timing of the pay-per-view, they cut this match. I think this match might have been the shortest of the night, and that kind of sucks. So I really wish they showcased these guys because they really deserve it, but they weren't, and that's unfortunate. So, but yeah, it's cool that we got Hurt Business now own pretty much every title except for the world title, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
In the 24/7 title, if you want to.
Oh yeah. Well, look at Archer's always hanging out with them, so it's funny. But yeah, so good match, I think. But I really wish they were showcased more because they deserve it and they can do it, So if this, like I said, if this was one of those old school matches for like TLC back in the day, they could definitely pull that off. The next.
Even. Yeah. Or no, you just said the name. I was like, yeah, that they would have. Maybe if the. I don't know which one I would switch out for, which TLC match I would switch out and like what I would replace with that, and give the TLC match to them, because like you said, they're all capable of giving you those like those highlight moments that we're used to seeing at TLC. I don't know what I would have.
Why not have 3?
I guess, but then I don't know.
Because before, when TLC used to be like, they used to have like a tables match, a ladders match, a chairs match, a TLC match, another TLC match, and that's how it used to be. So like, just make it a ladder match,
True.
So, and the next match is for the Women's Tag Team Championship, featuring the champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler against Asuka and a mystery partner.
Yeah. So if you guys are like some of our listeners and don't watch Raw and SmackDown every week, or skip over the promos before the matches. It was supposed to be Lana, but due to the ongoing storyline, I think for pretty much all of 2020 was Naya and Shayna just, for lack of a better term, bullying Lana every chance they got. And last week, Lana got a surprise pinfall off of Nia Jax, which put her in a rage, and they put Lana out of commission. I forget the full extent of the injuries that they went through. I just remember a torn MCL of being one that I heard. I don't know what the actual situation is, but storyline wise, torn MCL, and a host of others as Shayna and Nia just wreaked havoc on Lana. And so that in turn made Asuka needed a partner, which we were not going to know until TLC last night. And we had a really funny segment with Billie Kay propositioning Asuka for the opportunity, but she said she already had found the person. And kind of not surprised to anyone unless you live under a rock, it was a returning Charlotte who we had not seen since the summer. And I believe she was injured by Naya, so I guess in a sort of like storyline that kind of makes sense. Even though I knew she was either going to come back tonight or she was coming, last night, or it was going to be the Rumble. Otherwise, we got it tonight. So that was the big return for the big crowd reaction or big Twitter reaction, because that's really where all the reactions were. And so we have Flareon and Asuka versus Naya and Shayna. And I believe we started off with Charlotte and Baszler, but with Charlotte getting a lot of all the offense on Baszler, much to my surprise, and then getting the tag to Asuka after a few moments in, and then Asuka was playing the babyface in Pearl partner who's sticking in, getting offense in, but pretty much getting her behind kicked from the opponent team as they kept her on like their side of the ring for that tag team strategy of keeping your opponent within their partner to eventually get the hot tag. And of course, with the big return, Charlotte just wreaking havoc on both Shayna and Naya. I think Naya tried earlier in the match to get the tag to Shayna, to Charlotte, but Shayna pulled her off the ring apron, and then she just punched her in the face, and then Charlotte was able to get back up and go in and then wreak havoc. And as a surprise to no one, again, if you have watched any Charlotte match or any matches involving a big return, Asuka and Charlotte are now your tag champions, leaving Asuka double belted, which I don't think was mentioned enough last night after the win. But yeah, this was as predictable does. And I don't know, I kind of felt a little let down. I'm not going to fault Charlotte for coming back because it was going to happen eventually. She wasn't going to stay away. And I don't really fault them for putting the titles on Charlotte and Asuka, because I do think, again, much like we saw with New Day and the Hurt Business, we kind of need to refresh that a little bit. It was just that they made Shayna look like such a punk, and I guess maybe because I've been watching a few of her matches back in 2019 before she made the full transition to Raw, and the way that they just were able to write her, the way that they just made her go out like a little punk in this match, was a little hairy. They could have gave her some good offense on Charlotte and Asuka just to keep that, the ace of spades just on the going, because I'm pretty sure she's probably more than likely might be going next after Asuka for a title anyway. So I was just a little bummed about that. But again, I'm not mad at them winning the titles because I saw that happening.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Nia Jax and Shayna should have lost. It feels like Nia and Tamina. I could see Tamina taking the loss, but Shayna, no. Shayna looks so strong. Remember at Elimination Chamber it was, right? She was the only one to ever eliminate every single competitor in a single match in the Elimination Chamber. So I feel like that kind of sucked that she looked weak in this match. But of course, Charlotte's untouchable. She can't lose. So unfortunately, she won. I hate seeing that. I like Asuka, but Asuka as a solo competitor is so much better than her as a tag team. Even though she's funny, like her and Io Shirai were funny together. But it was Io, right? No, was it Io? Or Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane, yeah. They were funny together. But damn, man, it sucks. I think this is probably gonna end up leading them to lose the tag team titles, which I don't mind. But then it's gonna make Charlotte fight Asuka for the title, because somehow they're gonna feud with each other within the tag team, and then Charlotte's gonna be the new Raw Women's Champion. Because I feel like Asuka's just a placeholder between Becky and Charlotte until Becky can come back and win it back against Charlotte in a 1v1 match. Because I don't think she's ever done that, right? I'm not sure. She's beaten her in the triple threat match, but I don't think she's ever beaten her in the 1v1 like for the title at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, not for I think there was like some Smackdown matches.
Yeah, I mean, a title match at a pay-per-view because, you know, Charlotte never loses those. She's only lost like 1 or 2 in her entire life. Solo, one-on-one, fair and square match. So that's where I see it going, unfortunately. I really want... I don't mind seeing Naya and Shayna as tag team champions. I hope they get it back. But Shayna deserves to be put up higher. I hope she does get the title shot that you're saying. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that they'll let Shayna bring back her dominance now that she doesn't have to worry about being like someone's partner. She can just be her. I mean, not that they may, like you said, they could win it back, but hopefully, my hope is that for the Rumble, because I believe she almost won that last year. I could be wrong. To let her get that push for this upcoming Rumble, which they've already are really excited to start promoting now, like, which is another reason why I was like, oh, they're just ready for 2021. But,
yeah. It was Shayna and Charlotte at the end, and then Charlotte did the skin the cat. Like Shayna threw her out. Charlotte did skin the cat, and then threw Shayna out.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. I know it wasn't really crazy, but yeah.
If it's a pay-per-view that involves Charlotte, she probably won it. Like, you know, that's just remember, she probably won. She's got like a 98% win rate. Like, it's ridiculous.
Pretty much. Yeah, but like I said, I wasn't like too mad at it because it was predictable because he got the big return, so I wasn't.
But I'd rather have seen like anyone else in that position. Could have been like Alexa, even though she's not really Alexa, can't do it. But like anyone else. But
yeah, but again, my biggest bummer was Shayna not being able to be her. She wasn't able to be the Queen of Spades.
Yeah. Our next match was a TLC match featuring for the Universal Championship, featuring the Universal Champion Roman Reigns against the challenger Kevin Owens.
All right, so now we have our head of the table, our tribal chief Roman Reigns, going against Mr. Fight Owens Fight, and this really got started with KO just not being happy with how Roman was behaving. Since it's heel turn, obviously, and how he was treating Jay. So in the beginning of that, because they're pretty good friends, and of course he tried to do the whole he doesn't really care about you route, and that also led Jay into his heel turn to being basically Roman's lackey. And so we've had a series of matches between Jay and Roman and between Jay and Owens, and then Owens and Reigns, and he's been a nuisance to Roman Reigns the last couple of weeks, and it's all coming to a head here at the TLC match. I'm just going to refer to my notes because there was a lot that happened, which I believe we started off with KO getting the jump on Reigns right from the start. I don't think he came out to his entrance. I think he came out after Reigns and attacked him, which was, in my book, a good strategy because that's how Reigns kept doing him these last couple weeks on Smackdown. But of course, with Jay in his corner, he was able to fight off KO, and that would kind of be the theme for this match is Reigns or Uso knocking down KO and him getting right back up. Well, not right back up. Him in the Fight Owens Fight, it's on his t-shirt, persona to like, I will not back down. You're gonna have to kill me for me to lose this match. That didn't happen. That happened somewhere else. But he tried to take out Jay in the beginning with giving him a chair, hooking his ankle into a chair and jumping on that to, as they said, like break his ankle. But it's wrestling. They come back. They're like cartoon fighters. They always come back like boomerangs. But of course it's a TLC match, so we got to get all these big name spots, including Reigns powerbombing Owens onto a ladder, putting him through multiple tables, hitting him with multiple chairs, and yet KO, as I said, still fighting back, still finding a way to get back up to keep Roman from grabbing for the title. He almost had it like almost 3 times, KO, and I was like, whoa. That I'm not gonna lie, even though I knew like Reigns was going to win, going to like eventually pull out because you have to. There was a few times I don't know if he almost accidentally, but he almost like grabbed that championship down, and the Riders would have been in a whole bunch of trouble. But again, because he's got Uso in his corner, who's still not down from his chair shots or going through the announce table, he keeps coming back, helping Reigns to, keep Owens down. And then we end, excuse me, off with, again, putting Owens through the table through a ladder, and Reigns finally being able to get his belt to retain, to remain the head of the table. And all in all, I mean, this was pretty good. I can't really decide which TLC match I like better. Maybe I'll give like the slight edge, like this match, to Reigns and KO, because again, I love my stories. If you've been following AfterMat for a while, I love me a good storyline match, especially in ring storyline match. And this isn't over. KO is going to probably still be a thorn in his side. For some reason, I don't know if this is going to be an immediate repeat story, but we're going to see these two fight off in the ring again, because one, they have really good chemistry, so they're going to put them back together at some point.
I'm always talking about showcasing, and I feel like they really showcased KO this match. It was great. He was resilient. He kept coming back and coming back and coming back, and just taking everything that Roman dished out. And like, maybe that just makes the Roman look weak, because this is like the second pay-per-view in a row that's just happened, I guess, or maybe not second, because last one he fought Drew McIntyre, right? So maybe second or third, actually, because remember, Jey Uso kept coming back and never would give up. So maybe it's just Roman Reigns who just can't put people away since he's become the head of the table. But it made Kevin Owens look really good. I really enjoyed it. It kind of has shades of the old school Stone Cold Steve Austin. No matter what they did, he just kept coming at you, and that's what it seemed like. And I think that's what people always been comparing him to, and he even does the stunner, right? So, like, it's very similar. So I really enjoyed seeing him being showcased. Like, I think this is the one thing of the night that they showcased very well, was Kevin Owens and what he can do in the main event picture, because he's been missing from that picture ever since he was the Universal Champion, correct? So, yeah. I feel like he might have fought for the Universal title once or WWE title once here and there, but he wasn't really showcased. He wasn't in the spotlight like when he won the championship back however many years ago, 3 years or 4 years ago. So I really enjoyed this. Roman's been doing great as heel. Like, he's just got to do the England stuff, because mostly Heyman does the mic stuff. But when it comes to the personal family angle and the culture, he does that well. He could play that off well. But yeah, this has been great. I thought that match was great. Both TLCs, like you were saying, were great. I think I would also give this to the better match of the two TLCs of the night, because there were a lot of moments where you thought Kevin would win it, but then because the way they do the camera work and stuff, but then you see like Jay come up and screw him over and stuff. So it was very well done. Roman should have won, but this will keep making KO come back. So that's pretty much what I like to see.
Yeah, I also think this might have been the best work between Reigns and Jay, like working as a unit together. Because I mean, I know it was written that way in the last couple matches. It was to where Jay wasn't quite getting the job done that he was supposed to do. But I feel like this match really kind of solidified the family aspect. Although I hope they kind of delve into that a little bit more, maybe in the next coming weeks, because it's not just Jay and Roman in the wrestling family, so to speak, like actively on the roster. I mean, again, we all know COVID, gotta try to keep people as apart as we can, but by still giving a good show. But I would kind of like to see maybe some of the other family members getting apart, whether they either be agreeing or disagreeing with what Roman is doing. And I know we talked about this, I believe, last pay-per-view about The Rock and Rikishi and some of the others, stuff like that. But I mean, like, some of the others, I don't know how Jimmy is on his injury, but even if it's just like backstage, like he was doing earlier, just talking to see what his feelings are. So we haven't really seen him since the Hell in a Cell, whatever that I quit match they were doing. I know that's not what it was called, but that's what it basically was. Or actually, maybe it was an I quit match, but we hadn't really seen or gotten his views on things since then. And Naomi, we haven't heard from her. I know she's going through some other stuff or maybe she's not, and they're just not putting her on TV. Anyway, we have Tamina. We even have Naya on Raw. She at least give a thought of what's going on with her family on Smackdown. But like I said, I just see some other family members play a part. But again, maybe they were building up to this in 2021 as we were decided from before to get to WrestleMania. So that's something I would like to see.
And I think The Rock was actually on Talking Smack. I don't know what he said, but I think because they're promoting it. So I don't know if it's this week or it was last week, but he was on Talking Smack. So maybe they are going towards that angle that I was talking about. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
The final match of the evening was the Firefly Inferno match or something. I don't know what it was called. It had some weird name. And that featured The Fiend against Randy Orton, and the match rules stipulated whoever's the first to be lit on fire would be the loser. So coming in, I'm like, The Fiend has to lose this because, like I said, Orton usually only just wears trunks. So when are they going to light us on fire? Like maybe his boot like they did with Kane a long time ago? No. He actually came in full gear. Like he came in with a hoodie and pants. They're like, oh, maybe he can actually lose this. But, The Fiend is more likely to take the bump than Randy Orton. Not really a bump, but you know what I mean. Take the pain compared to Randy Orton. So it started out with Orton unleashing on Fiend, but Fiend just laughed it off. He just took all the pain, and just laughed it off. Then I think he pretty much knocked out Orton for a second, and he was outside, and then he grunted, and all of a sudden the pyro ignited, and there's little urns or vases that were on fire. There were sticks that were on fire along the barricade. It was on fire, so that's where the fire is coming from. Because normally the Inferno match is the ring on fire around it. So I was wondering how they're gonna do it. So that's when the Fiend went on the offensive. He basically used a bunch of weapons that he lit on fire himself, such as an axe handle, a strap. He even used the old rocking chair from Bray Wyatt days and put that on. That was pre-taped, I'm pretty sure, because he put the gasoline onto the chair, put Orton on the chair, had the gasoline line up to the chair, and then it cut to a weird angle, just showed his face and lighting it on fire. And then the timing seemed really off. That should have lit a lot faster. As the flame went towards the chair, Orton just sat there for a second, then jumped out of it. Then the Fiend came at Orton with a pickaxe. Orton was able to dodge it a few times. Then Orton was able to use the steel steps and knock out or hit the Fiend, and then found a chain, wrapped his hand in the chain, started punching the Fiend, brought his face towards the barricade where the flames were, but wasn't able to light him on fire. And then the Fiend started taking control again with some of his weapons and stuff, but Orton once again countered, came back, did the hanging DDT outside the ring, and then was about to go for the RKO. As he went for the RKO, Fiend reversed it into a mandible claw, pretty much incapacitating Orton, kind of making him go numb. But Orton was able to turn the Fiend around and push him his back against the barricade, which lit the Fiend's back on fire, thus losing the match. The Fiend, while the Fiend was on fire, Orton kind of ran into the ring to avoid the fire. The Fiend actually got into the ring after him. Orton RKO'd him, and then that pretty much put the flames out. So basically Orton won, but there was no bell or anything or any announcement, and we're like, and Delisha texted me, like, doesn't that mean he won? Right when I was texting her saying, doesn't that mean he won? And there's no acknowledgement that Randy Orton won, but he did win that because the Fiend was the first one lit on fire. But Orton wasn't done yet. He went outside the ring to grab a gasoline canister that was used earlier by the Fiends, lit the Fiend on, doused the Fiend in gasoline, and then when it cut away, you could see it was clearly changed to a doll, because you could see the hands were missing and the fingers were there's no fingers in the gloves and stuff like that. The doll was lit on fire, or the Fiend was lit on fire, and that's how the pay-per-view went out, with Orton winning and the Fiend lit ablaze. It was entertaining. It was fun. I had fun watching it. I didn't think it was a great match, but I had fun watching it. I thought it was really fun watching, because it was just entertaining. Felicia?
So tonight is the trial of Randy Orton, right? Because that was murder. Unless they're not counting the Fiend as a person in the eyes of the jury, but he should be in jail. No, in all seriousness, it was I don't know what to make of it, honestly. Because again, it was an odd stipulation for TLC. Even though they did use weapons, there were no ladders or well, I guess if you want to count the rocking chair as a chair, they did use a chair. So it was just an interesting match. This is probably the least quote unquote like cinematic one they've done involving the Fiend this year. So boo on that. Like you showed us you were capable of doing it, and then they're like, "Are we not gonna do that this time? We're just gonna." I don't know if it was like live and pre-taped, like cut in, or if it was just all like pre-taped and they were just telling us it was live. I don't know.
They should have done that. They should have done that. They should have pre-taped the whole thing, but the pre-tape part was with the Orton in the chair and stuff like that. They should have pre-taped the whole thing with a green screen so they could throw the Thunderdome in there. That would have been the best way to do it.
Yeah, probably, but I guess I don't know. But the sad thing is, once again, we have the Fiend losing. For what? Maybe the third time this year. I don't recall.
Yeah,
I should look that up. I'm sorry. Our fact checker is fired. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, so I don't quite know what we do from here, unless by the power of Fiend magic. Well, I guess he's coming back. And we have a lot of loose ends to tie out with that part, but I don't know. He's transferred his soul to Alexa Bliss, and now she's the Fiend. I don't know.
You know what?
I was just gonna say, I really don't know where we go with this. You set the Fiend on the power, and presumably, killed him, unless he's just like Jason, he's just gonna keep coming back.
That's what I think. They should have him come back melted, kind of, but like in backstage vignettes, kind of like when they had Orton feuding against Undertaker. They did all this like backstage vignettes of him being haunted by the Undertaker, where like he'd be like looking in the mirror at himself, and the gong would go off, and then the lights would go off and turn on, or the Taker would be behind him, then the gong would hit again, and the lights go off and come back on, and he was not there anymore, kind of thing. One time Orton was talking to his father, Cowboy Bobby Orton, and like blood was dripping from Cowboy Bobby Orton's head, and Randy Orton freaked out, but Cowboy Bobby Orton was just talking like nothing was happening, because it's supposed to be all Orton's head. So I can see that happening again with the Fiend getting in his head again. I was about to say he did seem a little disturbed with himself when I can't remember if it was right before he put him on fire or afterwards. Probably afterwards, you would think. But he did seem a little bit disturbed with himself with doing that, even though he keeps calling himself like a psycho. So I don't know why he would disturb. You're supposed to be disturbed because you have voices in your head. Yeah.
Or maybe the Fiend will return into one of those voices in his head, like playing into what you were saying. And I don't know how we cap this off. But
that's what I think. She should be haunted. I think that'd be a good way to do it.
But it'd be interesting to see how they play around with this. Hopefully, it's just not some dead end. We're like, no, we're just gonna move on to the next feud. I hope there is a little bit more closure than just melting the doll.
Yeah.
Or puppet, or whatever.
I feel like this. I don't think this should be over yet. They've been working really well together, and I feel like my haunting idea is good. And if they use it, they should pay me some money.
Yeah, I will say, because I know you won't watch Raw. They have, even though he lost last night, they have been using him pretty well on actual television between like him and between the migration of Bray and the puppets and Alexa and the Fiend. Like those have been really good and entertaining to see. Just that sometimes they keep dropping the ball with keeping the Fiend strong on pay-per-views. Like he's working on television and some of the other matches that we saw earlier this year, but it seems like we can't get a through line of the Fiend staying strong. And I don't know if because they keep writing themselves into a corner or what. I really don't know why we get this up and down. I mean, that's kind of been Bray's career from the start. It's been up and down, but you have like this really cool character that the fans are they're really into it. And probably one of the best entrances and entrance music ever. But I don't know. I really don't know why they keep putting particularly in this particular phase, why they keep putting the Fiend so up and down with the strongness of it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you're saying, like Orton doesn't really need to be winning anymore, right? He's proven himself. He's done everything. This could be leading up to one more title shot for him, right? Maybe, even though I think he just recently won the title and lost like a pay-per-view later. But
yeah,
he doesn't really need it. Like, so I don't know. It sucks for the Fiend.
He does. I'm so sorry, Ray. We love you.
Well,
love you over here.
That brings us to our finishers of the evening. So we're going over to Alicia. What your low point, your high point, and your overall grade are?
I don't really know the low point. It seems like too easy to give it to the kickoff show because it's the kickoff show. So I think I'm gonna give it to Carmela and Sasha just because this could have been more great and profound than what they gave us on the pay-per-view. It might not be the closure for them too, but what seems like a closure, I don't know. So that's gonna be my low point. High point, I'm gonna give it to our second TLC match of Reigns and Owens for giving us a through line of story with their match and also just giving us a good quality TLC match for the pay-per-view namesake. And overall, I've been thinking about what I want to give this the whole night, and I think we're just going to settle with a solid C plus B minus because while the matches in and of themselves were okay to good, there wasn't really a lot that I was invested in besides maybe Owens and Reigns, and then just curious what they were going to do with the Fiend and Orton. Other than that, I wasn't as invested as I would normally be in at least 2 or 3 of these matches. I think I'm going to put it in that B minus C plus range.
I don't get it. You give pay-per-views you like the same grades, and you didn't like this one, so I don't get it.
Because I recognize that the matches were okay for what they were.
Oh, okay.
But just me myself, I just wasn't like invested in what.
I convinced you.
Probably. And look at those expressos are wearing also. I'm like, I don't know.
For me, I think my low point was the Raw Men's Tag Team Championship match because they weren't showcased. They are, like I said, are 4 of the best athletes in the WWE. So to not showcase them and show off their talent and give them like a 10-minute match, whatever it was, sucks.
A ladder match. They could have had a ladder match.
So that was my low point. My high point, I have to agree with you, is probably the second TLC match. That was fantastic, very well done. Even though I enjoyed the first TLC match, it had more of my guys in it. Like I said, Kevin Owens' resiliency and stuff like that was great to see. Roman Reigns' brutality was awesome, and the weaselness of Jey Uso, helping out his head of the table was cool. So I think it was very well put together. Like you said, stories matter to you. That was a very well story interwoven together in a single match. So that's why I would give that overall grade. I'd probably give it A minus or B plus. I really enjoyed this pay per view, except for the few drawbacks I told you about. The Carmela match as well. Like I think wasn't shown off as well. She only did like 3 moves total, but over and over and over. So basically those 2 matches weren't very good. I never really count the pre-shows unless they're spectacular. But yeah, so I thought it was a great pay-per-view. I thought very well done. Everyone wrestled very well. It was a good end of the year pay-per-view.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't remember which year was the worst Fastlane pay-per-view that I
gave it F. I gave that an F. I remember.
Was that 2018? I can't remember. But look, that's like the barest barometer that we have.
Yeah.
So if you can be better than that, then I feel like the pay-per-views are in good standing. But I did have a question for you since we're at the end of the year. What is something, or is there a person coming back, a feud, face-to-face storyline that you would like to see them put together in 2021?
If Orton wins it one more time, I don't want to see him. I love Orton. I wear his shirts almost every week. Probably every week I do wear his shirt. if he does, I don't want to see it because I don't think he needs it. I think the sole purpose of him winning the championship one more time will be to lose it to Edge. And that's I want to see Edge win it one last run for him. One last run.
Okay.
And who better to take it from than Randy Orton, right?
I can get behind that. I can definitely get behind that.
What about you?
For me, I would like to see the women's tag team division level up to the greatness that they started out on. Maybe you don't remember, when they first brought it into fruition, there was like 8 different tag teams because they were supposed to be performed on all 3 brands. And after a year, they were like, never mind. So I would really like to see a return to form of that. And because of what it is, it's always going to go up and down. So I would hope that 2021 would be an up year for the women's tag team division. I mean, tag team wrestling altogether, but more importantly, our newest tag team belts of the women's division to really get back to form. I would also like to see another women's evolution pay-per-view. We could make that if we can't get it every year, every other year. Maybe I don't know. But
I think it's hard with COVID because you'd have to bring different women in from different brands.
I mean, this year was standing because of course this year is going to have an asterisk for everything in life that happened this year. But because I think Evolution was 2018, so if they could have made that a yearly pay-per-view, especially when they were doing it during October for breast cancer awareness. Hello.
Yeah.
But if we can get it every other year,
that would be the perfect month. And I would like to add to that. Not only should they do it every October for breast cancer awareness to have the women's thing, maybe all proceeds can go to the breast cancer research or whatever, like that. Susan G. Komen. Because it sucks that I think only maybe 10%. Well, I don't know how much percentage goes from their sales of the shirts and merchandise because they have the breast cancer awareness merchandise every time around that year. I don't think a large percentage goes to it. Whereas other companies either give 90% or 100% of all profits to that cause, which I like to see. But one more thing I'd like to add to that is that do it in October, have the proceeds go to the breast cancer Susan G. Komen Foundation. That's what they usually support. Third is add a new title, like the Women's Intercontinental Championship, a mid-range card. Mid-range title, mid-card title. That would be cool to see at the next Evolution.
Yeah, cool to see, but they can barely keep up with the 4 they.
But that's why I say go back to the old days where not even old days. Like you can't even say old days. Old days is like my old school Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter, Undertaker, Macho Man, Randy Savage. Those days, not even those days. I talk about go back to when they had brand split, which they still do now, but brand pay-per-views, but not 2 a month like we struggle with. Royal Rumble, the big 4, they mix, right? But then February will be Raw, March, SmackDown. You know what I mean? Like boom, 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 switch. That gives you time to build your matches and showcases more people, and that's how I think they should do
it. Exactly.
All right. With that said, Delisha, where can we find you, and what do you have got planned coming up?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Delisha Renee. You can find me on YouTube at Delisha Renee TV, where I do a lifestyle and wellness vlogging and also doing recipes, healthified recipes of some of your favorite foods to show them that you can make them better healthily and at home, usually better than what you would buy anyway. And this week is more of a recap of doing some videos I've done in the past to take off for the Christmas holiday to come back in 2021 with some good content for you guys.
And also you can find her links down below in the description for her YouTube channel, so make sure you go there and give her a subscribe. As for us here on the AfterMat, you can catch us back on the the beginning of February, because the next review is Royal Rumble, one of our favorites, and that's going to be the last day of January, so you can check us out February 1st covering Royal Rumble. And for me, you can find me, my whole schedule is up for the rest of the month, or rest of the year, I should even say. On my channel, I'll be going next Wednesday for video games, and then off on Christmas, and then I'll be back next Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of the week after for that. I should be every Monday, Wednesday, Friday until the next AfterMat or AfterTalk. So until then, guys, keep slumming the haters, be the champions of your dreams, and have a happy holidays, happy New Year, be safe, and we'll see you guys next year.
Bye.
Later.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns